Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? John, Josh, and Matt coming at you from Power 9 here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the reigning home of the best Star Wars Legion event in the 1 year history.
Yeah.
Yay.
I still got that. I still got that afterglow of.
I know it's
LVO.
like a week later, and I'm still like, man, LVO was so great.
I thought you were pregnant.
I mean, I'm drinking,
I saw twins.
I'm drinking a Monster. Is that probably not good for me?
Probably not. I can't imagine.
Well, of all of the vices available to you in Las Vegas when you're pregnant,
That's probably
Monster's
true.
probably a safer one. I'm just gonna say that.
Look,
I
know it's cliche, but I just hope it comes out like a Wookiee.
Would you get rug burns?
Oh, what's going on, guys? So we are just still in absolute awe of the awesome turnout that we had last week.
God, it was so much fun.
For LVO.
So much fun.
So much fun. We miss all of our newfound friends already.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to see how many, if I can actually wedge myself into, well, we're looking at Gen Con, maybe Adepticon. I guess LJ's getting tapped to help out with that a little bit.
Yeah, I know, which is a great idea. Good job. Whoever's in charge of Adepticon.
You chose wisely.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think Road Dogg was going to be involved with that too. So
nice.
Yeah, this could be really, really good. So reigning LVO, member attendance, but I'm sure it probably won't last too long. As everything just keeps ramping.
Sure, I'm sure one of these next few events will probably step up the 64 to, 128 maybe. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, definitely.
LJ was talking about doing that maybe next year for LVO.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's pretty much going to be a slam dunk. So, assuming that we can, get the space and the days that we need for it from the frontline guys. So.
Sure. Well, maybe boot out some of those 40K scrubs and take some of their spots.
We'll just we'll annex the tables that were for 30K and Underworlds this last year, and
30K, leave them alone. 30K is legit.
They can play out in the parking lot.
And you know what? They would. They're that dedicated.
They would, yeah. They had some really good looking stuff there. I'm a little jealous.
Well, we have a lot of cool Star Wars stuff to talk about. Besides just LVO, but real quick, I just want to mention something. So Sunday, we released the cast for the Nick Freeman and LJ interview.
Yeah.
A little bit late because I was, quote unquote, cheating on Star Wars Legion and playing the LVO AOS doubles at Age of Sigmar. And I'll tell you what,
did you really play it?
I really did.
Or did you get played?
I got played too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Honestly, playing that or just being a part of that, just reaffirmed my commitment to Legion.
Yay!
Different community feels.
Just different community feels, but the gameplay overall, just how the balance of a game works, how the organization of the actual event itself. I mean, it made me realize man, LJ really got this thing going. He got this thing organized. The Grand Marshal that Brendan did an awesome job. Just everything about that showed me how deficient the AOS event was, and.
If you don't have those, passionate people, they're willing to volunteer their time, money, and effort. Yeah,
and I'm not questioning the passion of the guys who were involved in setting that up.
I wasn't there, but I'm questioning it hardcore.
I'm sure they were very passionate about it, but man, it did not lend itself to a very well organized event. So.
Part of that could be Sunday too. You're kind of on the tail.
That might be a part of it too.
And doubles events typically aren't all taken that seriously, except for the people that really want to crush.
Oh, there were some people who really
played first round.
Some tryhards, for a casual format.
Now there's some good people playing it, but man, it was just the amount of stuff that went into it. I was like, okay, you know what?
It just drove home the point that
Legion is
your
such a
home.
good game. Yeah, exactly. So I may have strayed for a little bit, but I came back.
You went to the dark side.
Yeah,
were redeemed.
Just came back a little bit. Though.
All right,
okay, fine.
So
what do we got for this week?
Yeah, this week we got really big stuff to talk about. We got a little bit of new terrain stuff. We got some more, news about some exciting new units coming out. But before we get into that, Matt, we got some Star Wars news to talk about, right?
We do have some news. We also got some shout-outs since we're kind of the way we're doing the wrap up is going to be a little different this week, so we're going to get those out of the way. First off, major thanks to Christopher Fleming. He contacted me a couple weeks ago in response to one of our shows. We were talking about, there's not enough Star Wars for him. We got a lot of 40K stuff, and
that's in the store, not necessarily us.
Yeah, exactly, for the store for our Star Wars players. But he took it upon himself. He's got a buddy that works over at where I guess owns Panhandle 3D Printing, and you can actually find them at Etsy.com/Panhandle 3D Printing. But anyways, they have officially licensed Corvus terrain that they basically print out and send it. And he sent us an entire table's worth of, I forget what it's called, but it's like Jeddah-themed kind of buildings with, they've got some brick and mortar and a little bit of crumbling. But it turned out fantastic, and I am so thankful, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just for here, I've been doing a little bit of 3D printing, but yeah, having more Star Wars stuff and more importantly, stuff that isn't skulls and Aquilas is very, very nice.
Yeah.
My favorite piece that they sent us though, and I didn't realize Corvus did this.
Yeah.
Is it looks like it's like a little tower and it's got like a courtyard around it.
Yeah.
But it's really a dice tray.
It's a dice tray.
It's terrain.
Fits the terrain
that
scheme.
fits the scheme of the buildings, but it's also a dice tray. And it's so cool. I love it.
When I walked in here this afternoon, it was like Christmas. I saw like a table full of this stuff. We're talking like enough to make a pretty dense urban
when
game
this
ad.
tank comes out, this is going to be so much fun to drive through this.
This is how you know how excited John was about this.
Yeah.
John's a good painter.
Yeah.
He does a lot of commission work, and I hear him at work talk all the time about, I got to finish this, and God, I'm printing this, I'm painting this for so-and-so, and I got to do this, and man, I got to get this army done. He walked in here, saw this stuff, and went, I'm painting it.
Yeah. And was, I think, for
I'm painting this
split second considering canceling his trip to Italy to visit his girlfriend. So
she's not listening to this, so yeah, I was like, or at least like bringing an extra check-in bag with all of this stuff and being like, babe, we got some work to do this week.
Can you take an airbrush compressor on a commercial
I don't know,
international
but I'll find
flight?
out how much they cost at whatever the Italian version of Michael's is.
Oh, could you pick up
Michelangelo's, by the way,
one of those the Rogue One tanks while you're over there in Italy for me?
I mean, they probably got some future stuff we don't even know about yet. Some stuff Luke Eddy doesn't even know about yet.
Yeah, they haven't designed it
They're
yet.
already playing with clones and Jedis over there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But, many thanks, Christopher, again, and Gregory over at Panhandle 3D Printing. We also have some new Patreons. This is at the Imperial Outrider level, so the $10 level. Many thanks to Jeff Gartland, Ethan Judd, Steve Homer, Adam Brown, and Cole Knutson. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. That's
Wow.
awesome.
Please do stop by the Discord if you don't get an invite, or shoot me a
Absolutely.
message, and we'll see you on there.
We're nice, we promise.
More or less.
I'm not as much of a jerk in the Discord as I am.
I don't know about
on the
that.
show.
But as far as other news, we've got confirmed Pathfinder in Jin on the 21st of this month.
Yay!
So that's going to be exciting. We've seen now previews for, obviously, Sabine, Bossk, and the new ATST piece of terrain with some fun little rules on that we'll be chatting about for a bit. Otherwise, larger Star Wars news, actor Ian McDermott will be at Star Wars Celebration, so... The Emperor's coming here. Yeah. No. Yes. No. Actually, it was confirmed. So
He'll make it legal.
Yeah. But other than that,
So
where do we start?
yeah, no kidding.
There's so much. Where do we start?
So-
wait, and we haven't even have we mentioned what else is in this show?
No, I was just
we
about to say.
haven't. Like we're like, yeah, Sabine, and oh, by the way, after the break, in the second portion of the show, nobody of
we
consequence.
talk about
right? I mean,
John's Wookiee onesie.
Yes.
appearance.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
And we're gonna, talk with Luke Eddy, which
Oh,
is
no, Luke Eddy. That's
probably
right.
like the
Yeah.
most important thing of the show here.
Right.
So yeah, he sat down and talked with us after LVO, gave us a little recap, and then a little taste of some stuff,
Things
going
to
on.
come.
Yeah, some things to come. Things
Yeah,
that
definitely check that out, because don't stop the podcast early if you're done with us doing shout outs.
Right.
It's
Just don't let
actually
us
worth
ruin it
listening
for
to.
you.
Right,
right?
please.
So yeah, the biggest news besides LVO, of course, I think last week was the Sabine and Bossk release, and there, Josh and I work together, and there are some moments where he, walks over to my desk in a very quick pace with his phone, like look.
That was one of them.
Yeah,
I think I just walked over and went, dude.
Yeah,
dude. And that was, that
well,
was
we did
nice.
find a piece of information out. I think Nick has posted it up since then, but we do have an official from Luke saying that Bossk is 115, I think you said?
Yes.
Not
Yep.
85?
Not 85.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, damn. That changes some things.
Well, yeah, points. But
Well, yeah, it changes other. Never mind.
But so there's a multi-kit. They each have some unique tokens that are accompanying the set, so that's pretty cool. And the fact that you can build Sabine with, either Darksaber or like double blaster is
and the sculpts are
unhelmeted.
beautiful. And Luke's gonna get into a little bit of some
he
of
does
the
do
reasoning
that,
for their alternate sculpts and the options for it. And I really like it.
I wonder how many times we're going to sell Sabine kits just for people to steal the helmet out of that to put on other stuff.
For what? Like
The Mandalorian helmet, just for like head swaps on other figures and things like that?
post episode 2 Boba Fett models?
Maybe.
Just literally a head on a base.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
You mean Jango
Jango
Fett?
Jango
Fett,
Fett.
yeah.
Dang it, I ruined it.
Oh,
Ah.
man. And he didn't stick the landing.
No.
I am no Carrie Strug.
No.
But yeah, the alternate sculpts are awesome. The ability to customize the weapons and stuff from a hobbyist standpoint, super cool.
And now all you Rebel players can shut up because you got red defense dice.
Oh, we got some red.
Okay.
We got some red defense
Shut up
dice
about it now.
with the surge.
Well, that's
and-
really funny because I think during our game, I finally got to you to admit red dice are a thing. Is that not true,
They
Mr.
can
Josh?
be a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Until they fail you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Even though I say that I'm not a huge fan of the cartoon series and stuff like that, I love the model for Sabine, and God, I love the rules.
Yeah, the rules are phenomenal.
She looks
I mean,
real strong.
So we got 5 health, 2 courage, surges for blocks and crits, jump to Gunslinger. Wow.
impervious and
Yep.
nimble. Oh, I hate this so
I
much.
heart all of that.
It's take a little bit of Luke and a little bit of Han, a little bit of Leia.
Leia. Yeah.
A little Boba Fett, throw that in there. Oh, yeah.
Shake it up, and you got Super Sabine. Yeah. She's got Pierce 1 on her blasters, range 1 to 2, red, black, white. And then a bunch of tokens. The Darksaber upgrade, though. Holy cow. Was that 25 points?
Yeah. So
Looks
it's
like-
expensive.
Yeah.
It's pricey. But
But it gets you immune to Pierce.
immune to Pierce. You get
Impact.
Dauntless. And Impact 1, Pierce 1, 5 black dice on a surge to crit. Ugh.
Yeah, that's huge.
I heart that.
Gross. That is going to be so good.
I mean, it's basically the offensive capability of an ATRT, with the rotary blaster, with the
Right.
surge to crit and everything like that.
Right.
I mean, awesome defense.
Yeah.
She moves fast. She's immune to Pierce. Really, what
Yeah.
what
And
doesn't she
a
do?
speed 3 move really unlocks Dauntless. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really cool.
Looks like she's a 125 base, too.
Yeah, 125.
Yeah.
With the Darksaber, I mean, essentially she's 150.
I feel like the Darksaber's an auto take.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't know. I don't know if 2 red, 2 black, or I'm sorry, a red, a black, and a white die per gun. Now here's the thing. Here's the question I have.
Mm-hmm.
Her attack says dual pistols. So she's only rolling 1 red, 1 black, 1 white. She's not rolling 2 red, 2 black, 2 white.
I would
Because
assume,
it's dual
yes,
pistols.
yeah.
Okay.
Unless it said, one pistol is that, and then the other pistol gives you a second
Right.
attack, which of course would require her to have
Sure.
arsenal.
Yeah. So
That's a good point.
So
Yeah.
that's not. So her range attack is kind of weak, especially without any sharpshooter. Yeah, she looks like somebody you're taking the.
But Gunslinger, so you can put it on.
having that.
You can
Yeah.
put it on 2 people,
Yeah.
sure, but if you're in cover, unless you're rolling crits, which you're going to have a 25% chance to do anyways. You're maybe doing 1, and it's Pierce 1, so.
But as somebody who loves to use Han with that gunslinger and Pierce ability, having her being able to do that and then to move as far as she does.
Right.
I mean, in one of the games in LVO, I killed 2 units of sniper teams with that gunslinger in one turn.
Yeah, well, I think there's a distinct difference between rolling 2 red with Pierce 2 and sharpshooter 1.
Rolling red, 1 black, and 1 white.
With the sharpshooter's the thing here.
Yeah.
The sharpshooter's the thing where you're reducing cover, because it doesn't matter. You could be rolling 3 red dice, but if somebody's in heavy cover, unless you're rolling crits, you can roll 2 hits and it's still just 1 suppression.
I still feel like her effectiveness isn't reduced nearly that much.
Okay.
We shall see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we shall see. But there's also 2 kind of half-teased upgrade cards back there. We're pretty sure the one is personal shield generator.
Right. And there's not nearly enough text on there to know what
it does, but we know it's apropos for the story and the character.
Sure.
And then the next one is Electric Boogaloo, I believe is what that card says.
So does she have like the little disassembled cardboard box token that she uses to do breakdance moves?
I mean, I'm just hearing. No, it is Electric Slide. Electric Slide is what that card is. So,
okay.
Yeah,
See,
that makes more sense.
I'm a fan of the Cha-Cha Slide myself, so...
Well, clearly that's not a Star Wars thing. So.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it should be, though.
Quick side tangent.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Before we get back into the cards, Josh brought up a really interesting article to me. It basically showed the T-34 land speeder.
Yeah.
But they had the Spanish...
What it was, and you're already screwing it up, so I'm going to do it. So I had seen on the Discord that somebody on the Spanish language FFG site it says that the T-34 or X-34, see, you got me doing it now too. The X-34 and the Occupier were shipping. So I don't know if that means on the boat, translation, because it's off of the Spanish one. But it had the translations of the units, right?
Okay.
So
Muy caliente.
The Occupier tank became the Occupant tank.
Oh, okay. Well,
right?
That's good. Yeah.
But the
Occupant by Palpitones.
So the land speeder in Spanish translates one of the words is supposed to translate as slider, right? Because it's a repulsor vehicle, so it slides around.
Okay.
But the way the site translated it, Google or something, said a land speeder, it was the terrestrial slipper. So from now on, X-34s get referred to as the terrestrial slipper.
Let it be known.
And so shall it be.
Yeah, I'm not
it is
on board
decreed.
with that. No, that's horrible.
No, that's amazing. I'm gonna deck out an entire list with nipple satellites and terrestrial slippers.
That's nice. You're going to run around trying to get people to try on the terrestrial slipper?
Yes.
So you can ride off into the sunset with them?
Exactly.
Oh, Prince Charming. Okay, back to the things people care about.
Bossk.
Well,
enough of Sabine.
I'm
not
done with Sabine.
We're not done with Sabine.
We've got her command cards there, too.
Well, we got one of her command cards.
She's an operative, yeah?
Hi.
Yeah.
But she has Inspire?
Ooh.
That's kind of cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I can't really read the rest of that, but I'll assume it's cool. Here comes Bossk.
So here you go. So now here's the interesting thing about Sabine, the one command card. All of the operatives that we've seen so far pretty much only allow you to issue an order to that operative, right?
Well, I mean, Chewie's always, himself and
his are very
person.
teamwork oriented,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But all of Boba Fett's are just Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Sabine lets you issue, the only one we can see is her 3-pip.
Yeah.
It lets you issue 3 orders.
Nice.
1 to her and 1 to 2 trooper units. And the text is Sabine gains Inspire 1 when she issues an order to what looks like a commander, operative, or special forces unit. She gains either 1 aim token or 1 dodge token.
Nice.
So that's pretty good.
That's really good.
I mean, that's some synergy there. So that's good. Now the thing about that is if you issue 2 orders to special forces, operatives, or and remember, she's an operative.
Yeah.
So
she gives herself
she's automatically getting 1 of those
Yeah.
because she's going to issue an order to herself unless you comm relay it or something. But if you issue an order to, say, one of your commanders, her, and a special forces unit, that allows you to get 3 tokens.
So you could take a dodge and 2 aims, or
Dodge and 2 aims.
aim 2 dodges.
Well, you don't need 2 dodges. She has nimble.
Yeah, right.
So unless you just want to double up on the dodges
Yeah.
and spend 2 and get 1 back for 1 attack, but you have that option. So that's with 3-pip, and that's pretty tasty. Also, there's always speculation that depending on the art that they put on the
I was
cards,
going to say,
those are units
would
that you're
you
going to
guys
get.
like to join me in some wild speculation?
Let's
What,
do
the
it.
unit full of Mandalorians
That she's standing
behind
there
her?
with a unit full of Mandalorians.
And
Yes.
gee, I wonder if they're going to be a Special Forces unit.
That sounds like a special forces unit. I've
Yeah,
never
that
heard of
certainly
one.
sounds like a Special Forces unit to me.
Sounds like more red dice for the rebels.
So does that mean? I was saying, does that mean the Mandalorians can be rebels? Because
Well, I mean, there was
Technically,
factions. They might make them dual faction because they were definitely fighting for both sides during the Rebel
Yeah,
series.
but I mean that flipped kind of quick. If you're going Rebels Mandalorians, they kind of flipped kind of quick there. So Fenrel operative.
Yeah.
maybe we'll learn more
You stop
about
liking things, Josh, because then we'll never see it.
that. Maybe the more we see in this Mandalorian show, that might show us a little bit extra secrets that
Yeah.
could go into it.
All right, let's talk about the
All right,
real winner of
Bossk.
this announcement.
Not Dengar.
Not Dengar.
The Empire.
Also not Agent Callus. And I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed. We have the benefit of recording this after we talk to Luke. But they've always kind of announced releases and done releases based off of the same timeline, right? We got Krennic, Death Troopers, Jyn, Pathfinders all at the same time. We got Snow Troopers and Veers and Fleet Troopers kind of all at the same time, and I guess their original trilogy, not the same movie.
We're growing past that, man.
I know.
And
Man,
he does talk about it later.
If you're gonna do Sabine, there's a great time to do somebody Imperial from Rebels.
So he also answers that.
Yeah, I know.
Because nobody likes Callus.
Yay.
But I'm just saying, I'm a little upset that
I
here's
used
here's
to
a
like
perfect
Callus, too.
opportunity to get them mutton chops in the game.
No.
Nothing.
There's going to be a special double faction release for both sides. It'll be great. Don't worry. Don't give up hope.
What's hope?
Rebellions are built on them. Did you not know?
All right, let's
Yeah.
talk about Bossk, everyone's favorite
down.
Trandoshan.
Can you name another Trandoshan?
No, doesn't mean there aren't anymore. There had to have been another Trandoshan.
Right,
Yeah,
Bossk's
there's-
father, Kradosk. But, I can name more Trandoshans.
Is that his?
I was going to
his
say.
name?
It really
there's-
is, yes.
There's a few here and there. But usually they're just kind of foils for thugs.
Also, do you know Hutties counts numbers in octal?
What?
Yeah,
Like base 8?
yeah, base 8.
Did you know Star Wars trivia that I didn't?
I only know it because look at that. I only know
Look
that
at him
because yesterday when Brendan posted that poll making fun of Nick Freeman and the 8 X-Wings, he posted 8 in a whole bunch of different languages.
Right.
I'm like, wonder what 8 is in Huttese. Like, does it even exist? And sure enough, not only do they have the numbers for Huttese, it's all in base 8.
That doesn't
They actually
surprise me.
went
That's
through
funny.
and created like the entire
'Cause they've
numerical
got 4
system for
fingers on each
Huttese.
hand?
That's exactly what it is.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm like, wow, somebody really went into doing that. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, there you go. Now you guys know that not only is Huttese a real language, and they actually have the numerical system. It's base 8.
I know another Trandoshan.
What's that?
There was one that was on a planet that fought Captain Kirk during that one.
Oh,
That was Gorn.
Oh, yeah.
But never mind.
Gorn. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the guy's name. So you can pose Bossk in multiple ways, either throwing a grenade or using his Relby mortar gun. Is it Relby?
Yeah.
Something like that.
wait,
Rimmelsby?
did we get a confirmation of the grenade yet?
Well, it says
I
a
mean-
Dioxys grenade in the article.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's literally
what it does
him
and how it
holding a
works, I
grenade
have no
right there.
idea.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. It looks like it might be a charge. There's a charge token included in the kit, and if you want to go by canon, Bossk is generally either immune or it helps him regenerate.
Oh, well,
So-
we know you can regenerate.
So what's the big thing
That's
that's kind of
interesting.
a pain with saboteurs? You jump them in, set it range 1, detonate it,
And they blow themselves
and they
up.
blow themselves up.
Yeah.
Bossk is just going to be able to jump in if they do what I think they're going to do. Bossk is just going to jump in, drop a charge, and watch everybody die around him and laugh.
Laughs
Because
lizard.
he'll be immune to it. So I have no idea how they're going to work this. I know
Yeah.
how as a grenade, how I think I would like it to work. I would, looking at something that's a poison grenade, I would almost have this work as kind of an inverse E-stims.
Okay.
So you throw the grenade out as one of your actions. At the end of your activation, it detonates, so you can get clear of it if you want. End of your activation, it detonates, and there's a whole pile of what looks like poison tokens in this. There's 6 of them.
Oh, they're like the little biohazard
They
symbol
got like little
on them.
biohazard symbols on them. Every unit...
Also in Huttese.
Yeah, right? Every unit that's within range 1 of this charge gets one of those tokens, and then at the end of the turn or round or their activation or however you want to do it, they lose a guy.
I mean, again...
So it's like a poison, it takes a while
This
to
is
kick
all
in.
speculation.
Yeah, it's all speculation. Sure. This is Josh saying how he'd really like this to work. I think that'd be a cool mechanic where...
How I'd like it to work is he walks onto the battlefield, cracks open a cold one, starts chugging it, and all the poison goes out and kills everybody nearby.
Don't.
This is why FFG will never hire us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We are basically the Star Wars Legion version of Axe Cop.
I don't know what that means.
That's fair.
You don't know what Axe Cop is?
No.
Axe Cop is a comic.
Okay.
It's when it
Started
came out
years ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
it started years ago. But when it came out, it was inked and drawn by a guy that was like 21. The story was by his 5-year-old nephew.
Oh, nice.
So like his
I thought it was
nephew
a
would just
little
come up
brother
with
or something,
crazy
but yeah,
stuff.
whatever.
5-6 years old would just come up with crazy stuff.
That's us, basically.
And then
Yeah.
this guy would draw it out as a comic.
Gotcha.
Axe Cop is worth your time. Definitely.
All right. So what kind of special rules are we getting from Bossk?
Oh, he's got bounty.
Oh, okay.
Bounty hunter with bounty.
Wow, I should hope so.
Yeah. He's got Enrage 3, so that's same as what the Chewbacca's got.
Yep.
We've got Expert Climber, cool. So he's looking up for parity on the Wookiee right now. So Regenerate 3, which I am a huge fan of.
I wish I had that on the Wookiees.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's at the end of your activation, too. So, if you activate first and you go...
Hey, Bossk,
and
go
then
clear
you
this
take
minefield.
damage, right? But, it kind of makes you want to hold back with him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to shove him up in there first thing, because then if he gets shot to pieces in that round, he doesn't get to regenerate.
I don't want to make too big of a deal because it was revealed to us on the second part of the interview, but that jives with his command card very well.
Exactly.
Oh, what? The lying in wait?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Of course it does.
He's also got Unhindered, and then his Frenzy, his Pierce 1. He's got Pierce on a melee attack. Which,
Finally.
Yeah.
Right.
About time.
Red, black, white, and then his... was it... Man,
The Relby V10
Relby, it
mortar
is.
rifle.
Okay, mortar rifle. 1 red, 4 white. Pierce 1 suppressive.
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Huge, yeah.
Yeah. Being able to chunk out. Yeah, that's going to be nice.
So the only complaint I have with him is it seems like he has kind of contradicting play styles. Like he's got one play style that makes him want to stay back, and then he's got another one where, you kind of want to bring him in combat.
Well, I mean, as a bounty hunter, you have to be ready for any kind of situation.
Sure, but I mean...
So what are you talking about? What's your for instance here?
Well, I feel like you either are, you want to keep him back and kind of out of line of fire and using his suppressive abilities, and maybe the other play style is to bring him in close, but there's not a lot of mid-range game, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
he doesn't have charge, so it's not like he's not like Chewbacca or... Well, I don't know if Chewbacca has charge. Anyway,
he does when he's angry.
Yeah, right. So, and you get it in charge for enrage too. So disregard.
Yeah.
Well, there's your play style. Hang back until somebody shoots him, and then charge him in and wreck stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Go
really
in there Slee Stack style.
You're playing him a lot like Chewie. Just instead of a 1 to 3 range band, you're playing 2 to 4.
Well, I think he's more of a mix between Chewie and probably Boba Fett, because at least Chewie has ability to add synergy to other units.
Sure.
Chewbacca's not exactly a powerhouse on his own.
Here's your synergy. I've got a bounty.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
I love his command card though.
So yeah, we want to give us a quick recap of that.
Gains Sharpshooter 1. It's called Lying in Wait. Sharpshooter 1. After an enemy unit activates, Bossk gains 1 aim token.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You leave him, you get a 12 activation list, and you leave him at the end. He's getting a lot of aim tokens.
Now, here's the other thing.
Please remember, we recorded that part of the interview beforehand, and that blew our minds at the time. So
yeah,
you'll
exactly.
understand when you
But it's also not dependent on Bossk activating.
Yeah.
So he can move first, take a standby, sit in cover, and then just generate aim tokens until somebody pops out and he can shoot them.
Yeah.
So, you get that too. Yeah.
So he's a unit I think that we're going to have to kind of reserve judgment on until we get the full reveal of all his abilities.
Right. One other card on there that is new is Elite Talent, the Endurance, which has a picture of a Tauntaun on it. You should be very happy, Matt.
I am very happy, Matt.
At the end of the activation phase, you may remove 1 suppression token. So
6 points?
6 points to remove 2 suppression
That's
a
not
turn.
bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's got tauntauns. Frankie?
You're insufferable.
All right, guys, we're going to take
I'll
a quick...
see you in hell.
Are we not talking about the... We're not talking about the ATSD?
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
There's
Let's
yeah,
go over that real quick. Yeah.
Real quick.
So we got our first actual, I guess the first one since the Priority Supplies box set that we got some
It's a
actual
Battlefield
terrain.
expansion.
ATST down.
And as our friend Dan made the joke,
Paint me like one of your French girls.
it looks like it's in a seductive
And
pose.
then pedantic Josh had to get on there. He's like, actually, Jack was a drawer, I believe is what he said.
Him and Simon, they both like to do
They
drawings.
do drawings.
Yeah.
I understood that reference.
Wow, that is actually pretty.
Yay.
Mike Myers.
Yeah. So, I mean, what... I don't know what to think of this. Because...
So you think back to a couple of weeks ago when we had an episode where we're like, it's too bad there's not enough, Star Wars specific terrain out here, and we got to, print it all out.
And I know you guys don't like this, but I don't know if this is necessarily terrain. Yes, it can be used as a terrain piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the article and the cards that come with it, this is more intended to be like an objective type thing, right?
I think it is absolutely a piece of terrain, and the little, diorama piece, centerpiece for this optional objective thing, I think you're just getting more than just the piece of terrain itself. So you've got the little scenario you can run for funsies. Mm-hmm. It's not official tournament or anything like that, but it's it's some extra cards they threw in so you can, tell a little story.
But play a scenario. It's just, I mean, the five scenario cards we have, red, blue, green, are nice, but I think we still
Did you
need
look at
more.
the 360 on it?
I did. It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's nice. It's a nice sculpt. It's
You can hide troops behind there if you want to.
right.
It's,
you can leave your friends behind.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I enjoyed it.
I just
It seems like a fun scenario.
If FFG's going to do terrain, there's bigger fish to fry.
You got to start somewhere.
Are you referring to Mon Calamari? Because I'm offended.
No, that would be bigger squid to fry. Okay.
That sounds delicious.
Your taste buds can't repel fire taste of that magnitude. Sorry.
It's a frap.
I mean, if and this is something I said in our Discord, but if you're sitting at home playing with shoeboxes and Tupperware, a downed ATST doesn't do a whole lot to bring your board to life.
You're right. You're gonna have to buy more than one piece of terrain. I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing, and I think this is really the one place where FFG and they try very, 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 very hard to distance themselves from GW and 40K.
Sure.
The way GW markets 40K and 30K and Sigmar terrain is something that FFG absolutely 100% needs to emulate, carbon copy, rip off, whatever word you want to use to describe it. The way that GW gets terrain into their games, I think, is something that FFG absolutely needs to be doing.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't think this is a step in that direction.
Okay.
There's a lot that needs to be done to bring people's boards to life, whether you're a store owner, whether you're playing at home, whether you're looking to just play in your basement with your buddies, doesn't matter. And we just came from a tournament that had great terrain, but it all happened because the community made it happen.
Yeah.
Right? Guys with their own 3D printers, guys with their own hobby skills making it happen. That is the lack of terrain is still the lack of official terrain I think is still a large barrier to entry for a lot of people in this game.
We're still less than 1 year into this game.
Sure.
And they just introduced one piece of terrain. Okay, so it's a starting point. Guess what's going to happen next? Maybe another piece of terrain, and then another piece of terrain after that. And then you can actually start marketing it as you claim. So what I don't want to see them is doing what GW is doing right now. For people that play Kill Team, you'll know that you're buying your teams, and it comes with a bunch of terrain in there, which you may or may not use, but it jacks up the price on the box.
Sure. That's not what I'm necessarily talking about. I'm talking about the way GW will do, like, an industrial complex, and you buy it and you put it together, and it's got like 7 pieces of scatter terrain that you put around the board. Or you see, like in AOS, they did like a ruined hamlet, and it's all walls. It's not like buildings, but you can go and make a ruined half a board's worth of a ruined city out of a box.
Okay,
right. That's what I think FFG needs to be doing instead of doing like what is essentially a piece of scatter terrain.
Okay, so. Number one, this is kind of uncharted territory for them. They've never had to do this for any of their games before. The closest thing we had previously was Rune Wars, and that was all cardboard.
Sure.
Cardboard terrain. So I think they're probably doing the smart thing and seeing how people react. Oh, okay, is this going to be, popular? Are we going to sell units of this? Before we double down and design like an entire Imperial sector or something like that people will spend $200 to $300 on.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
What is sitting on the table as we do this podcast?
Ton of beautiful terrain.
A ton of beautiful terrain.
That was donated by somebody. We didn't go out and buy this.
No. Here's the point I'm making.
Okay.
Between Imperial terrain, Corvus, and a couple of these other people that are designing their own, right? All FFG has to do is go to them and license the STL files. And then send it to whoever the hell they put to print it in China. And
once again, I'm sure Lucas has to have approval on all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And the fact that it's like fan-made and all that, I think they would try to be avoiding that. Plus, they have very talented designers.
Stepping a little bit outside of board games, you see stories all the time of software companies that somebody goes and makes a whiz-bang, gee-whiz, awesome mod for one of their games. And instead of the game company or the software developers going and getting all pissy about it, they go and hire the guy.
Nobody's saying anybody's getting pissy
about
anything.
I know. But it's not that hard to get Star Wars terrain into this game, right?
Okay. Here's not knowing the production side on things, that's a pretty bold statement to make.
And here's my takeaway from this. I would rather have new units coming out consistently than more terrain. Exactly. So if they're having to divert manpower to making terrain and then the number of unit releases are going to suffer, I don't want that. I'm perfectly capable of either downloading STL files or creating my own homemade terrain. The fact that they are making some is awesome, and the fact that it's coming with narrative tools, actual like scenarios, great.
Bonus.
I'm super happy with this.
So in another year's time, I'm sure we'll probably have more options available, and it'll just keep scaling. We've had people already saying that the amount of stuff coming out really quickly for Legion is almost overwhelming. I mean, how much more do you want to cram down? I mean, it's nice to say, oh, we'd like to have, all these extra things coming. I want my Tauntauns. I want extra buildings, all this stuff. But there is a certain point where people are like, whoa, this is way too much. What are they just doing, cash grabs? What's going on here? Or, are they going to be keeping a good cadence and keeping up quality products?
I feel like the pace that we've seen from stuff is good so far, and would I like to see more terrain? Absolutely.
Sure.
But I don't want to see...
I think it'll have to be worked into the release schedule they have. And it seems like every 3 months or so we get like a new, like the extra objectives tokens or things like that.
Yeah.
That are just kind of extra things ancillary to just units and things like that.
Are you
and the bases and...
I think Josh is just upset that this may take away from barricades.
No.
That's not.
There's only one barricade.
Okay.
No.
This is scatter
Don't
terrain.
worry.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I can say you still
Maybe
nothing ever takes away from the barricada. The barricada is holy. There is only one barricada.
Actually,
praise be unto it.
8 of
Put
them
holes into it. But, I think it's because the ATST in its broken crash state is a monument to the fallibility of the Empire and how it can actually be taken down by the rebels.
Maybe you shouldn't have skipped leg day.
No.
Well, there's a chicken walker. Chicken legs. and you guys make a point that I'm never comfortable with, that always seems to bother me.
Okay.
FFG, they've got these limited resources, and I was talking to a couple people at LVO about this too, because somebody said the exact same thing. Like, I get it, okay? FFG is just a small company, right?
Okay.
You're rolling a Star Wars game, right? That is, maybe the company doesn't want to say it is, but you're a competitor to 40K, which is the 5,000-pound elephant in the room, right?
The 30-year elephant in the room. Yes.
Sure, that too, right? At some point, you've got to drop this, we're a small company. You got a Star Wars license, and you're trying to go, and you want something to be big. If you want to be one of the big boys, you got to act like one of the big boys.
Okay.
But Games Workshop also has all of the resources poured into 2 games. I mean, FFG has board games, card games, miniature games, dice games.
Well, then,
I'm sure.
But again, you've got to decide what you want to be, right?
And I think they're growing towards that.
Sure, but we've got to get out of this mindset that it's a small company. Like, I
disagree. I don't think they are a small company. I think they're not a foolish company.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough to still have people who are pivotal within that company coming and talking with us and becoming a part of the community.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see that out of GW.
Oh no.
They're hands off.
The way I am over the moon with the way that FFG is willing to send talk to Luke and have this kind of stuff. But
Speaking of,
what's up?
We have an interview.
I know, right? So now that we've got that out of the way, we've got our interview with Luke Eddy coming up in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break, though.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
What's going on, Outriders? John, Josh, Matt, and we've got Luke Eddy in the studio with us.
Special guest.
Hey.
Like,
Yay.
super special guest.
I know,
I don't want
right?
to start
Extra
ranking our
specials.
guests, but
I know.
he's amongst the greatest guests we've ever had.
Now, this is the second time
fair.
we've had him on the show.
Yes, but the
first
first time in
time
person.
here. Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
here in real life.
So he does exist.
Hey.
So he's you're here for LVO, right?
Yeah, I was at LVO. They invited me out, and it was awesome. I had an amazing time there.
So is this the first tournament you've been to for Legion?
No, I was at Gen Con.
Okay.
So this would be the second.
So what are your thoughts on it so far? Like, what did you see from LVO compared to Gen Con?
Well, so the attendance rate was amazing, and a very low drop rate, which was good too. I think Gen Con, a lot of people sign up for things, and I sign up for a lot of things that maybe overlap sometimes. But nonetheless, though, Gen Con was really awesome. I think a lot of people were sort of testing the waters a bit, or hadn't played a lot before, but were there to play, which was really cool.
How long had Legion been out when the Gen Con event happened?
I want to say Legion came out April that year. I think it was something like that.
End of March, early April.
Yeah,
something
maybe
like
it was
that?
March.
March 22nd, March 23rd, I think was the drop date.
Yeah, so then you had Gen Con in
Let's
August.
check
So
my
it's
back
not
tattoo. I've got it on there.
nice.
Lower
So-
back, right down.
Yeah, so really not that long. So, it was great that there was people at Gen Con playing. There's, if I recall correctly, there was someone who had never played it before who went ahead and entered in the tournament. So, no, honestly,
That's how you learn right there.
kudos to
Full
them,
strategy.
right? That's
Yeah.
trial by fire right there.
Yeah.
Did he beat Matt too?
Yeah, probably.
So it was
Had I been there, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. No, so definitely that was a difference, I would say. And, nothing against, people. Obviously, it's awesome that people are willing to jump into a tournament like that, having not played before, having very little experience. So Gen Con for a lot of people was like a cool learning experience. Whereas LVO, part of what was great is just seeing such high caliber play and people who were very had played the game a lot, were committed to the game, had brought armies that they were experienced with, that sort of thing. So that was some of the difference, I would say.
What are some of the takeaways that you want to bring back from LVO?
Well, I would say that they collected a lot of data.
Yeah.
I know Kyle, aka Orchimedes, is gonna have deck lists, and he's gonna have army lists, and like what objective cards were taken. What objective cards weren't taken based on what faction. That'll be interesting to see.
How many times Boba Fett's rocket was fired?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Actually, yeah. Command cards too. He's going to have the
Nice.
command card breakdown. So there's not necessarily like very specific things we're like looking for, but it's just fun to see all that data. Really.
Does that data make its way back to you, and then do you guys use that to further develop?
Short answer, it makes it, we'll see it because, Kyle's going to post and be really interesting.
Sure.
As far as actually influencing things, not necessarily. I can't say directly that it would, but it's always interesting to see. I try to sort of keep a beat on how the game is going competitively, what the metas and things are. I shouldn't say I try to. I do, because, it's important for the game to be balanced and that sort of thing. But so that data will be really interesting to see, definitely.
When you see, like yesterday, we saw a diverse amount of lists.
That was really great to see. There wasn't anything that wasn't represented.
And do you feel some kind of like personal validation, like, hey,
definitely,
we did a good job.
Yeah,
Self high five.
No, it's always great to. You don't want to choose favorites among your children, but there are some units that I'm really happy to see are getting played. Because some are a little more janky than others, or some are can be a little harder to play. I was really happy to see a bunch of saboteurs out on the field. That was awesome. Yeah, some guy went and thought bring 3 scout sabs. Suppression bomb. Yeah, who would do that? Exactly.
Yeah, you may not want to pick favorites amongst your kids, but it is okay to tell the T-47 to go sleep in the closet underneath the stairs. That's okay.
No.
Oh, so it's a wizard now. It's waiting for its invite to Hogwarts. Okay.
Well, Harry Potter had his time in the sun. So,
Absolutely.
Anyways,
So there's hope, T-47 players.
Yeah,
just wait. It's coming.
It was definitely cool to see so much diversity there. That was really cool.
What's your outtake on the community so far? Like, are you seeing some of the same people you saw at Gen Con? Are you seeing a lot more new people?
There was definitely some overlap. There was I don't know. I'm trying to think how many. I don't know if I'll have a number, but besides Nick Freeman, there were a couple other people too I recognized from Gen Con, so that was cool. But what was really cool, and I know this has sort of been said before, but it's true for me too, like meeting so many people in real life, face to face, putting names to faces or voices to faces too was really cool. So
I gotta say, Kyle did not look like an Orchimedes to me.
No.
What does Orchimedes look like?
Yeah,
I
don't know. What do
imagine
you
a big
imagine?
hairy dude, but
A green mathematician?
yeah.
basically,
yeah.
that's what I was going more, yeah.
Oh, God. So with yesterday's, events kind of wrapped up, what do you think that might play out, I guess, with upcoming, what's the next event? Adepticon, you think?
yeah.
So are you going to Adepticon?
No, I won't be at Adepticon, but hopefully we do have. I think we'll have a presence there. I know we'll see. Hopefully, I'll try to get out to another tournament this year. Won't be at Adepticon, but hopefully another one. We'll see. Maybe Gen Con, something like that. So, as far as I don't know, was your question like, what do you think is going to be out there? What do you think is going to take?
Well,
it?
there's going to be new units available.
Yeah, see, that's the
Hopefully,
thing. It's
yeah.
hard. It's
Sin and the Pathfinders will be out at the end of the month, so that'll be
Is that confirmed?
21st.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're not spoiling anything because it was just dropped this past week, the news about Sabine and Bossk.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Those guys. We got over the the initial just awesome excitement of the units. Really started looking at some of the stuff on there, and the first thing that jumped out to me was you have alternate sculpts available now.
Yeah, that's a thing. What I can say about sculpting is definitely that we have internal sculptors. We have a whole team of guys who work on it, and they do amazing work. And honestly, everything they do just keeps getting better and better. So I was pleased to see people noticed, that there's a little bit of bump there with
those
Rogue
Wookiees
One.
were next level.
Well, and then after that too, the Rogue One stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the Jin
You've
model
seen-
is amazing.
I can't wait to see that in person.
Rob, who does most of our likenesses, just knocked out of the park with Jin and Krennic.
Mm-hmm.
That scarf is pretty sweet that she's got, and Krennic's cape. Yeah. So, it's getting really good, and they're putting a lot of work into like posing. Like the Death Troopers have all the like tactical posing, and so we're definitely trying to improve. Every wave or set of units, there's something that we improve upon, and Sabine and Bossk were, how about we have more than one way to put those minis together.
How many different options are we looking at with those kits?
So Sabine has both a helmet and non-helmet head to use, and then one hand is always holding a gun, but then the other arm can be switched out for her second pistol, or you can have the darksaber. And then
cool.
so like that was a kind of an obvious it's Sabine and the darksaber is an upgrade. That's a sweet option to have, and like of course she has to have a helmet, but also like let's do Sabine's likeness. But then the other character was Bossk, and we're like, well, we don't.
Does he get a darksaber?
We don't want the Imperials to feel left out. So we worked on brainstormed on what could be his alternate pose too, and he's hucking some sort of grenade that might have something to do with some of all those tokens that are in that product spread.
Tokens we may not have seen before.
The tokens that look like they've got a biohazard symbol on them.
Yeah, how about those tokens?
I like it. Yeah,
just some of those. There's some what look like charge tokens.
Yeah.
Sabine has a whole bunch of stuff.
Speculation is rampant.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think, and looking on the Discord, I think everybody had it pretty much decoded in about 5 minutes after the article dropped. Because I can see half of this card and it says and then there's this token that looks
that bright blue
token.
token.
Looks exactly like the personal shield generator she had in the thing, and it's like, oh, okay. Well,
yes, but how does it work?
Well, that's Well, I think energy goes into it, and it like emits it, and then it blocks stuff.
That's just magic.
Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
You're a wizard, Sabine.
Yeah. With the T-47, yeah.
So be honest, after you guys dropped those new articles, like the preview articles, how much time do you guys spend just watching the Legion forum and laughing at people's trying to play enhance on the photo, trying to speculate, this letter looks like it could be a B, but maybe it's a P.
Well, how much time? I'll just say none. I mean, it's honestly it's part of the fun is seeing this stuff get announced and seeing people get super stoked about it and start to speculate and just get excited about the sculpts and about what the unit possibilities might be, and start theory crafting lists and that sort of stuff. So that's really exciting. It's really fun to see.
So from a design standpoint, everything to this point has been pretty complementary to the other side. Like when Jin and the Pathfinders came out, we had Krennic and Death Troopers. This time you've got a Rebels character and then an original trilogy character. Was there just not a rebel from the original trilogy that you wanted to put in there? No, and I'm not setting anything up. No, I'm not even going to ask it.
I'm
not even going to ask it.
We know exactly what.
Approaching.
But why the decision to, if you can talk about it, why the decision to kind of break that mold?
Well, unfortunately, my response is no comment.
Fair enough.
But I can say that I mean, it's not really, like a secret that the people who work at FFG are huge nerds, and we really like Star Wars.
Sure.
And there's awesome stuff in Star Wars that we want to see in the game as much as the fans want to see in the game. So, we do put a lot of thought into what's in there, and a lot of people give input, and we try to make, decisions that will, please the fans. And we also make some decisions that are just a little selfish because, like I said, we like Star Wars too. But Sabine was definitely an intentional choice, though, to just sort of I think last time we were on the podcast, Alex and I talked about how we definitely were doing original trilogy stuff first, and that was an intentional directive to be like, we want to make sure it looks like Star Wars. So we did a lot of that, and we still had more original trilogy stuff we could do, but we're like, hey, let's do some Rogue One because, that's Legion. Legion is ground battles. Rogue One is all about that. So he had to get that in there. And then I think, with the stuff after that, you're seeing a little bit of a return to some of the original trilogy stuff with, you've got Luke's Landspeeder, the X-34, and then you've got Bossk. But we also wanted to seed in there a little bit of something else, too, which would be Sabine for Bubbles.
Sure.
Just to cue people in that, like, hey, there's nothing canon that's off the table.
Right.
They're
all part of the same.
Exactly.
Galactic
You've got some
War.
favorite thing from something, like, just hang in there,
Yep.
Just hang in there. We'll get to it eventually.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to see how well your guys do modeling mutton chops. That's all I'm going to say.
They're pretty epic. We'll have to do them justice.
So, Mr. Eddy, follow-up question. Bossk, great bounty hunter or greatest bounty hunter?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, there's a pretty sweet, metal man who walks around too, whose head may or may not be an espresso machine. No, I believe Bossk may be the greatest bounty hunter.
I want my Dengar, man.
Well, here's
the
the thing, though. I mean, Bossk is a nice guy. Like, he's sort of a surrogate father figure for Boba Fett in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
And he teams up with Ezra in a really random young adult novel for the Rebels series. So
I was not aware of this.
Yeah,
wow.
Bossk is always taking people under his wing. He's kind of,
He's a good dude.
I think he has a heart of gold,
Despite the fact he
unless
kills
you're a
people for
Wookiee.
money.
Oh well, yeah. Don't. I'm not saying. Hey. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying.
But who is?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's the flaws that make him that much more of a gem.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, his rules look awesome, and what we've seen from him so far, the model looks really cool. So he's one of those guys that's making me question whether or not I want to maybe pick up a couple more Imperials.
Well, you get to paint something other than black and white if you.
I'm sorry.
That
who
bright
paints
yellow
Who paints
jumpsuit.
Imperials black and white?
People that care about things.
I've just got to try and figure out how I'm going to paint purple reptilian skin.
No, I want to know how John's going to paint up Sabine's armor.
Oh, I want to do the canon armor. Like it looks really cool. It looks like a challenge.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
Well, so we if you look at her armor closely, it's the season 4 armor.
Okay.
Where she's added some pieces like the shin guards and the ammo straps that go around those, and then also she's got the van bracers that Fen Rao gives her. So. And the jetpack as well is on her back too. So her armor changes over the series of the show. So if you want to be accurate, check those season 4 references for Sabine.
Nice. Okay.
You got to get to season 4 to be able to check those references.
Yeah, probably.
You got to get past episode 2, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're gonna need you to work on this.
Well, I'm definitely gonna include her in my army though, because having somebody with red dice save. Really nice.
Yeah, no, and that's I was saying this when I was on recording with Fifth Trooper earlier too. Shout out to those guys. But that there are definitely some things that sort of we sort of keep within certain factions to give them their sort of flavor.
Sure.
But every once in a while, it's good to do like an iconoclast character, and Sabine is very much like that. She's like, oh, Rebels, you're used to those white dice, yes? Yeah. Hey, how about some red dice with surges?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to sort of riff on things like that. And her keywords too are very much like. She doesn't have any new keywords, actually. They're all existing keywords from, Han Solo, from Boba Fett, from, Leia. So you combine all these things and, makes for a good character.
I dig it. I'm very excited for that because, Luke holding down that red dice thing all by himself.
I honestly forget how nice it was having that because I've been doing the Leia, Chewie, Han list for so long. Because
you were diehard Luke for a long time there, even after Leia came out. So.
I was, and I think now that LVO is over with, I think I'm going to switch my list back up. I feel like I've gotten some good playtime out of the Wookiees. I'm happy to see some other people brought Wookiees there, and I think I'm going to switch it up now and maybe move to something more close combat centric and.
Well, good news, Outriders. In the meantime, we've finally dumped Josh, and we've got
oh my God, thank goodness.
better Nick and LJ here to fill in for him in the conversation. Josh had to take off, but we got better Outriders now.
You talked about the guests that you had on the show, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure almost all the guests you've had on the show are in this building. Because
Yeah,
Dave
I
is
think
out there
so,
too. Basically,
actually.
everybody except for
Well,
Alex, right?
so we
Right,
who
yeah.
else we
Yeah.
invite? Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But we were
Alex,
all in this
Road
building.
Dogg,
My name is Josh, and I went 2-2 at LVO.
there you go. Good
So
job, Josh.
I'm ready.
I'm glad you got your hair back. So looking good, sir.
So Luke, what would you say has been the most rewarding part you've seen so far? The game's been out for a year. What has been your favorite part?
I don't know. This is sort of broadly speaking, but I mean, just the reaction to it has been great. Like that, people are super excited about it. I think, like some of the other guys were saying, like LVO was such a positive experience. Like people were having such a great time. A lot of good sportsmanship. And I think Legion has a really good community going for it. Some of what I see online is a lot of players, helping each other out, asking rules questions and clarifying things, and just seeing people play games with each other too. Like the sportsmanship is great, and I think that's so positive. That's important, especially Legion's relatively speaking a pretty new game, and to see like that's where the community is at and that's where it's building towards is great.
Now, from somebody who came from a background of not so competitively balanced games like 40K and whatnot, playing Legion is pretty, I don't know, balanced, and it feels like such.
Well, thank you.
It's such a good game experience. But Nick, you coming from War Machine and being somebody who's definitely more of an accomplished gamer than me, what's made you stick with Legion?
I think they hit kind of the magical spot. So no game's going to be perfectly balanced, and no game's going to be super enjoyable. And you've got outliers on both sides. I think Legion, at this point at least, has hit that sweet spot where it's balanced enough and fun, which is something that some of the other games have kind of lost in one direction or the other. So it's kind of in a sweet spot right now.
The fact that you're able to introduce rules that hit the flavor, feeling for it, like the impenetrable, it's like, okay, it's cool, it's armor. They get an extra chance to maybe deflect the lightsaber. And but also makes sense for the game is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things I've thoroughly enjoyed is getting what I feel like is more depth to a character through the command card system. Mm-hmm. That's one of my things that, that's something I haven't really had in any other games. The characters' rules define them, purely. But, having the extra layer on there, I think has been really cool. And so far, almost everything is useful, There's only one or two cards that maybe you consistently don't bring when you're building your army. So to see that not only stay relevant, but also, continue to define the characters we see. I mean, I can't wait till we see what Sabine and Bossk is, what the rest of their cards are.
Exactly.
Because I know they're only going to continue to add depth to them.
They're pretty good.
There's your hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take, Luke Eddy.
So that's something I talked about with Orchimedes a little bit too, is that, every model's on a bell curve, whether it's overpowered, underpowered, right on the sweet spot. And we've both done a lot of analysis, and almost everything is really close. Mm-hmm. There's no, with the exception of, maybe the T-47, everything is right at the peak.
They can't all be winners.
They can't all be winners, but so far you've done a really great job at making everything's playable. There's no bad options right now, which is great.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I think, I want to give Alex a lot of credit. I mean, he's the designer of the game, and I think...
Yeah, but he's not here, so you're going to have to take all the credit.
Well, I joked, he designed the game, and then, all the development work I've done for all the expansions are just fan expansions of his game. But no, he did a really good job with sort of in a way future-proofing development space by giving the game so many levers and dials to pull without overcomplicating it. Yeah. But just the way that sort of the stats you get on unit cards, the custom dice but that are still variable with the built-in surge or not surge. And then, keywords, most rules text or card text, I should say, being keywords that can be reused on other things, just makes it so easy to develop for. And I think, but having all those variables, I think, helps with the balance because there's so many little things you can tweak And then flavor-wise too, there's so many things you can adjust to sort of bring out what's unique about a character. That it really goes a long way. The more granular a system is, the more you can sort of narrow down balance. So like being an 800-point game, that's you have a 1 point versus 2 point, isn't a huge deal a lot of times. So you're not working with these like super fine oh, if this card is 1 point more, now it's unplayable. So
sure.
you have a little bit of forgiveness built in, which I certainly really appreciate. It makes it easy to develop for, really.
So I know you're living in the future, and you got to go back in time here to February 2019.
Back to the future,
right? What of the game of the stuff that we've got out right now? What are you running? Like, what is your list of this stuff?
Oh, I don't play this game.
What is my list personally?
Yeah, what's your list?
I was talking about this before too. This is I don't know if this is going to be a very satisfying answer because like as a developer, generally when I'm playing the game, I am living in the future.
No,
and,
so
I'm playing things.
Yeah,
not even released, not even announced yet. So.
It's all great.
Like one of my favorite lists is definitely clones.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. Droids are fun too. Not gonna lie. They both have some interesting things going on. But in terms of like now, like if I were to actually play, like honestly, like it's tough. Well, it's maybe a trade secret, but developers are not necessarily the best at a game. At least not the best at a game in its current form.
I don't know why you guys were bagging on the T-47. It was unstoppable when I played against it yesterday. So clearly it's a little OP and needs to be brought down. So.
No, it's so yeah, like when I play just for fun, like, I'm not bringing something super competitive.
Okay.
I like to just throw stuff on the table. Honestly, like it's really fun to play with newer people. And sort of like give them tips, let them sort of like learn the game, and I don't really care what I'm playing. It's whatever. It's stuff from that they have extra of, or it's just stuff from the first wave of the game. So
it's kind of funny how the units can change what you might bring. I was just telling John, like when Snowtroopers came out, I was like, oh, they're nice. They're kind of a little side grade option. Mm-hmm. I'll keep one unit. I'll be fine. He did such an awesome paint job on it. I was like, I need another unit of these guys. They just look so cool.
But I think you brought up a good point about like how units that maybe we looked over in the past are suddenly becoming viable based on new things coming. We haven't seen an HH-12 or an Ion Trooper in quite a while, but with these vehicles coming out, that might change.
Oh, yeah.
That tank is mean.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's not, I think we try to think long term about a lot of things, and sometimes there are, for example, some of the Ion stuff, like as you see more vehicles, those become more relevant, that sort of thing. And, so there's some things that we do to try to, shape the meta a little bit, or maybe bring out things that aren't being played as much. But honestly, our main goal is just to keep putting out stuff and just make the game more and more of a sandbox, and try and put up more and more things that are side grades, last time I was on here with you guys, I talked about how like the game isn't even technically out yet from our perspective.
Yeah.
We've actually now finally just hit that point. Like I was talking about Specialists, like that pack sort of completes what we had envisioned from the beginning as like the game, as Legion.
We're finally getting all those critical puzzle pieces.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people weren't sure, right off the bat, if we were ever going to do generics, generic commanders and that sort of thing. And they're like, oh, it's so hero centric. They're never going to do. And we're like, no.
Nobody ever said that.
We will. We are going to do. Oh, did someone here say that?
Oh, I think that was like our episode 2 or 3.
It was early on.
For a generic commander.
Well,
it was like, this is a game about heroes and characters.
I think Alex was talking about how it's all about the heroes, and some people might have misunderstood that as, oh, they'll never do them. But no, we are. It just need to hang in there. And so it was always something we planned on doing. Using the personnel slot for things other than just adding a guy was always something we planned on doing. Sort of generic but faction-themed command cards, it was always something we planned on doing. So now that we've hit that point, the stuff you're seeing now, or seeing previewed now, starting with like Jin and Pathfinders, like now we're getting into the side grade stuff where it's like, we're just trying to give players, different options, know, and try to cater to play styles too.
Yeah.
So, this new thing isn't supposed to invalidate this other thing. It's just to give you another option.
No,
and as you find what's good for you, what you like playing, you sort of tailor your army that way.
I'm excited for the asymmetrical nature of the new Rebel stuff that's coming out. That's going to change the way they play the game. The Empire has to react to them, or even other Rebel players. So just being able to have more access to the board at that beginning, early stage of the game is going to change how people play it.
Yeah, definitely. It is pretty asymmetrical. Yeah.
To be honest with you, the only complaint that I have so far is the fact...
Oh, no complaints. I'm kidding.
Josh has been sitting here railing about the Rebels being terrorists for the last year, and then you gave him you gave us tactical, which basically is, like, Josh, first thing he comes up to me, shows me pictures, "Your Rebels have a tactical, you are terrorists, I told you." And I'm like...
right. so wait, because Josh isn't here to represent himself, you're saying that because they wrote in a technical with a machine gun on it, essentially,
technical, yes,
where you just strap a machine gun to it and send it on its merry way.
Yeah,
that they are validating that statement.
That's what Josh says. Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Hey, they have to make do with what they have.
Exactly.
No, I love it. It fits perfect with the fluff.
What was Baru gonna complain?
No, she's a smoking crater. Luke, seriously, thank you so much for coming here today. And
it's my pleasure. Yeah, definitely.
Is this the part where we chain him up to the back office so he can't leave again, and we can just talk to him whenever we want to?
This is the best part where we try to extract all the answers from him.
Okay. So before we go, I think I have one more question.
Ooh.
It's not release related, but you said that the designers are fans. And so who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Who's my favorite Star Wars character? That's a really tough question. You're putting me on the spot here.
I
am. Well, I will say, so it was... kind of an honor to work on the Rogue One stuff for Legion, and we try and do a lot of research. And so the more and more I looked up stuff about that film and saw some of the attention to detail that they'd put into stuff, and how they made it feel so much like an original trilogy movie, and reused so many props and costuming pieces and things like that, and it was really sort of a homage to the original trilogy. I fell more and more in love with that movie, and so I don't know, Jyn maybe might be my favorite character, but I'd have to go with my namesake, actually. So I'm gonna go with Luke Skywalker, the hero of the whole original trilogy. So yeah,
fair enough.
Sorry if that's a cop out.
That's legit. They justified it well. So, yeah, Josh's is Jar Jar Binks, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yours is Slingshot Ezra. So.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Thank you, all three of you guys, for joining us today. And we really look forward to more future events in the future.
Yeah, same.
All right. Outriders, thanks for listening. We will catch you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
At the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter @Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.